What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be discussing the forbidden energy source that every man needs. Now, when I make these videos for you guys, oftentimes they involve topics that I really wish I understood when I was younger. I really wish that somebody had sat me down and explained these types of things to me. I feel like it would have made my life as a man have a lot more meaning, have a lot more purpose. And ultimately, I'm making these videos to kind of remind me on how I should go about educating my future son, and basically telling him these things that some people that have already experienced a lot of life, they might already know them, they might take it for granted. But when you're a young man trying to learn to navigate the world, or you're a man that feels lost, feels like you're not driven, feels like he doesn't have any purpose, these are the types of things that you need to hear often. And so I know that this video is probably going to get quite a bit of hate, quite a bit of pushback, but I really wish that somebody had told me this sooner. I've heard so many pastors preach from the pulpit about not becoming angry, all right? But this is something that isn't talked about. And men are so weak in today's society that I think that it's necessary that we discuss this topic and that men understand it. First thing we need to address is that anger is not inherently wrong. It's not inherently evil. People have told me, oh, God couldn't be angry. That's ridiculous. Jesus would never be angry. It would be a sin for Jesus to get angry. Somebody has actually told me that before. Clearly, they don't have very much experience with reading the Old Testament and even the New Testament. Are we looking at the same Jesus that overturned the tables of the money changers and drove everyone out with a whip? It goes to show how feminized the Jesus is that is portrayed by our society and by modern Christianity. Incredibly feminized, not masculinized. His masculinity is downplayed. His feminine attributes are upheld and they are praised. Our God is a dangerous and wrathful God. And many instances in the Bible show God's anger, especially inside of the Old Testament. The most prominent one that pops out to me is Uzzah in 1 Samuel. When he touches the Ark of the Covenant, as the Ark of the Covenant begins to fall, he tries to make sure that it doesn't fall. And it says in there that God's anger burned against him, and he was immediately struck dead. What an interesting passage. What was Uzzah's heart like? Because we read through that passage and we think, wow, God sounds pretty angry, unreasonable. But we don't understand the depth of his anger. But all we do know is that he is all loving and he is all powerful. He can't do anything wrong. So clearly that wrath was justified. But there is a lot of mystery that we ultimately will never be able to understand while on this planet about our God. And that's something that you have to be okay with. You can't just decide to worship God once you understand him fully. So anger is something that is regularly expressed by God in both the Old and the New Testament. And what I need you guys to understand is that we are called to be slow to anger in the Bible. We aren't called to have no anger. We are called to be slow to anger. And anger towards injustice is something that is perfectly acceptable. The world is not how it should be. The world is fallen. As soon as you understand that, it gives you this constant level of righteous anger whenever you encounter situations that just show the fallenness of the world. And if you ever hit the gym, you'll know exactly how helpful anger can be. With strength, with stamina, A lot of people will use something called the forbidden pre-workout. And it actually became a trend on social media for people to show themselves doing a set while one of their friends showed them texts from a heartbreak. All right? And these texts would ultimately get them riled up to the point where they would push harder. They would put on more weight. They would be stronger. They would build more muscle because they would get angry during their sets. They would get angry before the set. Even power lifters, my friends who go and deadlift 700 pounds, they'll have me slap their backs before the set as hard as I possibly can, to the point where it puts welts on their skin. They have me literally hit them as hard as I possibly can, because that anger that they feel when that pain hits their body is incredibly helpful to helping them complete the lift. So not all anger is a curse, and you need to stop looking at it that way. Anger is also a tool. There are multiple studies that have been done that show when anger is present, anxiety and fear dissipate. They disappear. It's like you can only feel one of those three emotions. You can feel angry, or you can feel anxious, or you can feel fearful. So try this. Next time you feel like you are getting fearful or you are getting anxious, try getting angry. You'll notice that it helps you. It helps the nerves go away. In the same way that getting angry before going into battle would help so many soldiers be able to charge even when everyone is incredibly terrified. Anger can be used to accomplish amazing things. And a lot of people will say, oh, that's toxic. It's toxic to use anger as a fuel in order to better your life, in order to better your situation. It's not. What determines if your anger is toxic is your ability to control it, to channel it. Just like masculinity, the strength, power, and danger that comes along with being a man can be incredibly toxic if it's not reined in. That's where that term toxic masculinity comes from. But when it is channeled appropriately, it is an incredibly good thing. I've used this analogy before, but Zuko, inside of Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of my favorite characters of all time, he's the son of the Fire Lord, and he ends up switching sides. And now he starts fighting against his father, and when he does this, he loses his power because he must find a new, purer form of aggression outside of uncontrolled rage, bitterness, and anger. He must find a way to be dangerous and aggressive without having uncontrollable anger be the source of his power. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, so it must be channeled. It must flow. You must learn to practice to utilize it. It is all ultimately up to us to become alchemists. Alchemy is the process of turning base metals like lead into precious metals like gold through an internal spiritual process. You turn that anger into good. And you can feel that danger within you. When you feel it well up inside of you, that bitterness and that hatred, you can feel its potential for destruction. Its potential to hurt you. Its potential to hurt those around you. But it's up to you as a man to learn to turn it into good. If you don't believe that something terrible and toxic and destructive can be fuel for good, then look at what Jesus did on the cross. He ultimately had the most purest form of alchemy, turning the most evil thing on the planet into the greatest good. I have studied Stoicism before. It teaches you to suppress your emotions, to have no emotions. I've even practiced it. But I think that when you suppress or bury your emotions, you fail to learn the ability to channel it, to control your emotions. This is something that I have personally found to be much more effective, especially when trying to build something. That energy can be incredibly helpful. Stoicism ultimately leads to inaction and to complacency. A lot of people get lazy when they don't have passion, when they don't have emotion fueling them. So learn how to let it fuel you. Learn how to let it flow through you. Go and become strong, learning to channel your emotions. Use your anger to displace your fear and your anxiety, and get passionate about things. Get passionate about what you are building. Get passionate about life. So hopefully this video helps some of you guys. Make sure to drop a like down below and drop a singular thumbs up in the comment section if you watched all the way through this video to the end, because that means you have got an awesome attention span, and I will see you guys all in the next video.